Mr. Speaker, indeed, the Right Honorable Speaker read to us this communication from His Excellency the President. At the time the communication got to this House, the one who signed it was the Secretary to Mr. President. Mr. Speaker, at the hearing, the matter was raised, and I must state for public records that His Excellency subsequently brought a letter signed by he himself, and that put that matter of constitutional procedure of a sort to a peaceful rest. Mr. Speaker, as contained in page 2 of this 48-page report, the committee requested for and received from National Intelligence Bureau a security report on the nominees. And I must say that all three reports proved favorable. We therefore proceeded to hear them. Mr. Speaker, first on our respected colleague, the Majority Leader, Dr. Kasiel Ato Ban Forsson. He distinguished himself. The necessary questions were asked him. He explained to the best of his ability. Of course, there were clear commitments that our side, the minority, expected from him regarding some promises that his party made in its manifesto. These we expected him to have given us clear, straightforward answers. But, Mr. Speaker, he coming under the fact that he is not been to the ministry and there's the need for some consultations, was open in his answers. Mr. Speaker, this House will hold his feet to the fire by demanding answers from him, even as he assumes that high office. Mr. Speaker, we're also not too sure about his designation. The executive instrument establishing the ministry talked about Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, whereas the letter to us referred to him as the Minister of Finance, designate. So I believe that that is a matter that has to be done, because it's a constitutional matter that I believe that the President may have to look at. Mr. Speaker, this government has made a lot of promises that it is going to repeal some taxes at our ports. Those port taxes have still not been repealed, but I can understand, because they don't have a Minister of Finance. We can understand that because they have not presented their first budget. But at least we expect them to make a public commitment. To make a public commitment that indeed, given the opportunity, they will walk the talk. Importers are anxious. They are expectant. They want to see taxes and levies reduced. They want to see taxes that you call obnoxious taxes repealed. You promise them great reliefs. Those importers are expectant. Mr. Speaker, the all-important support for the private sector initiative, the 1D1F, we asked the minister why in opposition he did not support the 1D1F. His views were to the effect that these exemptions, when given, are often abused. But, Mr. Speaker, merely saying that exemptions are abused is not enough. What is important is for government to put in place measures to ensure that those who benefit and use these benefits for the good of industry. Again, it appears that in opposition, he acted perhaps merely for the sake of politics. We still believe that the only way for this government to survive is to ensure a thriving private sector. Giving or granting exemption to the private sector is something that must happen. It must be done. You can't continue to overtax the private sector. I spoke about tax waivers yesterday. I will speak about tax waivers today, and I'll speak about it tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, they are talking about their so-called big push. The so-called big push was again re-echoed by my respected colleague Afenyo. Again, we are holding him to the commitment he's made. Mr. Speaker, for the first time, he defined the 24-hour economy. All these months that they were talking about 24-hour economy, there was total confusion. He now says that the 24-hour economy is only going to look at the real sector of our economy. So we are looking at the manufacturing sector, the mining sector. He said so for the record, and he's been captured. If you read page 9 of the report, I have the 48-page report. I have it with me. And that is what he referred to, that the 24-hour economy is going to concentrate on the real sector. I am sure that if this concentration is done, yes, it's here. Funding government machinery. He said the implementation of exemptions. He's talked about it generally. Mr. Speaker, if they really implement the 24-hour economy, we will not be seeing desperate youth on our streets. We will not be seeing desperate youth invading people's company premises. We will not be seeing violence. We will not be seeing unemployment at high levels. So, Mr. Speaker, we look forward to the resetting agenda that my respected colleague talked about.